Hello again, everyone. We're 10 days away. We are 10 days out from Bad Blood in Atlanta. The card is getting there, and it's pretty close. Um, I think they're still trying to confirm a few more things, but progress is being made. What a SmackDown and a Raw, too, as my takeaways are there for you as well. Hello again, everyone. Erik Dunn here, and social media plays a huge part in WWE now. Hey, I got some numbers for you that I think will blow your mind. And that has to do with main event Jey Uso. I'll get into him in a couple minutes. You know, WWE is about making history. We saw some history made on Monday night. So I'll have some good things to break down for y'all. With that being said here, you can find me every Wednesday right here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, as well as on Amazon, Google, Spotify, TuneIn, Red Circle, and Podbean podcasts. Follow us on our Facebook and our YouTube channels at RI Broadcasting to stay in touch with us. Patreon to help support our program, support this company, support this station. Buy me a coffee at RI Broadcasting as well. And if you want to be a sponsor for Going On Daily Sports Unfolded or for Falls Count Anywhere and advertise forward on broadcasting, your ad will be read here. Not only will it be read so people will see it, but an audio version will be heard on Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. For those that want more information on how to get involved, send email to the man behind the scenes at RIB, Rodrigo, at all one word, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. That's all one word at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Ron will get you involved, get you everything you need to have, and we'll send you on your way for how you can be a part of our company. This broadcast of Falls Count Anywhere is the exclusive property of Erik Dunn Productions, Ron Rigo, and Rhode Island Broadcasting for the private use of our audience, but any publication, reuse, or redistribution by anyone, it's not prohibited and is given the express consent to be shared everywhere and is greatly appreciated. All right. Don't mind me, just getting one last thing up here. So I was talking about history being made, and the biggest thing that I look at when it comes to history is how much impact will it do to not just the WWE universe, but to the audience as well. How much could you put on it? Like, how much could you put behind it? And the biggest thing that I look at when it comes to WWE is just how well it can do in order to provide what it needs for the entire audience and the people watching at home. And something that I was very intrigued by with watching Raw and SmackDown this past Monday and Friday is that a lot of pieces fell into place, but it was a shocking way that it did. And I'll be the first to say the CCO, the creative content officer of WWE, Triple H, Paul Levesque, who is running this thing from top to bottom, really has been stepping up in a huge way. And every banger that I have been seeing has been stepping up big time. And the biggest thing that I look at when it comes to WWE is what impact can they make down the road that could affect it later on at home. And for WWE, they have been not only firing on all cylinders, but everything has lined up perfectly here. You want to talk about the history being made? Before I get to the takeaways, this is the history I'm talking about, and this is about main event Jey Uso, who finally, after a year of a face turn, and the crowd behind him with the yeet is now the GOAT. Jey Uso is the new Intercontinental Champion. And you want to know why this is a great thing? In just under 12 hours, across all of WWE's social media platforms, 42 million views and counting. 42 million views of Jey Uso's title win. There were reactions of people crying because Jey won. I might have been one of them. I mean, there are some characters you feel, but however, they use their real names. And you could feel the history behind those emotions. And for Jey, it's about time. Just like with LA Knight, it was about damn time that he became United States champion. So you've got LA Knight on SmackDown as the US champion, and Jey Uso as the Intercontinental champion on Raw. So here are the 10 takeaways from both Raw and SmackDown. Now I'm going to go in order. Number one, odds and end. So we have had, or will have, a tornado tag match, a strap match, a last monster standing match, a steel cage match, a Hell in a Cell match, and a shark cage match. Used sparingly, gimmick matches are a powerful tool. However, it does seem like there have been more recently. Montez Ford had a low-key strong performance in the six-man tag against the Bloodline. Is there more on the horizon for the Street Profit standout? And what in the world is the Miz thinking today after being shoved out of the way by a couple monsters? Number two, wanting more of the Judgment Day. And before I forget, um, Mark Caboli, veteran NFL writer and Pat McAfee show contributor, had his 10 points with this. So just so you guys are aware of who this credit is going to. Number two, wanting more of the Judgment Day. I don't have a list of TV time of each person on the roster, but it seems like the Judgment Day has gotten their good share recently, and rightfully so. So Dirty Dom is so damn entertaining, you have to see him every week, multiple times if possible. But it seemed like the faction was dialed back a little bit for Raw, and that was actually good. There was an opening sequence that added Dom in a shark cage stipulation to the Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan women's world heavyweight title match at Bad Blood. Other than a quick match between Carlito and Dragon Lee and a brief appearance backstage with Adam Pearce for Dom and Liv, Judgment Day had a short and sweet night. That, I believe, allows everything to breathe and leave us wanting more. Um, Number three, mind games. So keep number three in mind games. In a weird dynamic, Gunter has all the power to continue to mess with Sami Zayn, yet Sami is being the only superstar who has defeated him. He probably should be taking Zayn more seriously since he defeated Gunter's longtime friend Louis Kaiser. Then made it sound like Gunter was going to give Zayn his title shot to deny him again. I'm not the biggest supporter of this feud, but I could see it working as well because of how well Sami plays the misfit underdog role brilliantly. Number four, pure cinema. It was going to be difficult for SmackDown to live up to what was produced last week during the return to the USA Network. We could look back at that show at the end of the year and easily call it the best. But SmackDown on Friday may not have thrown the same haymakers from the week before, but the cinematic production of Cody and Roman's segment was something no one will soon forget. Now, I'm not usually a huge fan of these cinematic segments, but this one hit right with the message. The intensity, the brevity, and the superstars involved didn't hurt it either. More of this, please. Number five, total meltdown. Total meltdown. Xavier Woods has lost his mind again, and it's spectacular scene, which seemingly had the match won against American Made before worrying more about the interfering Chad Gable. It ultimately cost New Day the match, but that was ancillary. Woods snapped again backstage with some harsh words for Rey Mysterio, and they were reviewing the kid stuff that made the New Day, Budios and Francesca the trumpet, trombone, isn't what they need now and isn't who he is professionally. Woods' transformation from a goofy guy to a tortured soul is getting fed up with not being taken seriously and never being world champion has been fascinating. I think it's only a matter of time before Woods turns his back on Kofi and a rivalry ensues. It's starting to show signs, sadly. Number 6, where does KO stand? Kevin Owens once again looked like he was going to take out his buddy Cody Rhodes, but this time with a chair instead of a championship belt. Owens may be presenting it that way and might ultimately happen, but that's not what I want to see. And maybe we got a glimpse of what could be. Who would be against an Andrade Carmelo Hayes best out of 5 series between Owens and Jacob Fatu? The main event of the Street Profits and Owens versus the Bloodline was more of a one-on-one battle between Owens and Fatu, which was impossible to take your eyes off of. They stayed away from each other, which made me want it more. Both big men have no regard for their bodies, are borderline crazy, or as Corey Graves said about Fatu, he's crazy. He doesn't deserve to be in public. This needs to happen. Number 7, monster match. For a match that didn't actually happen between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, the two set the stage for what GM Adam Pearce later announced was a last monster standing match on Raw for the following Monday. It's almost to a point where the match would be impossible to live up to the build-up of physicality. That's not saying the match won't be a can't miss, but I wonder how they will match the savagery. On Raw, the start of the show had the two brawling, going through a merchandise table, then Strowman hiding in the crowd ready to jump Reed during his entrance to fight Miz was a nice touch. The framework has been laid that these two are legitimate monsters that have no regard for anything, even an entire security team that the two disposed of. Number 8, you are in my way in life. The Reigns Road Square off in the middle of Georgia Tech's Bobby Dutch Stadium, where Reigns was a 3-year starter for the Yellow Jackets, 20 miles south of where Rhodes grew up, brought some incredible context to where Reigns is at his professional career. After losing to him at WrestleMania, Roman came across as vulnerable. They took Jimmy from me. They took my wise man from me. They took my bloodline and they took my Ulafala. I have nothing else to lose. And you are in my way, and especially in my way of life. I mean, come on, what better line is there than that? Just emotion and pureness from the rawness of that segment. Number 9, where will this leave Breaker? Breaker lost after holding the IC title for 58 days after he rolled roughshod through the entire WWE, destroying just about everything and anything in his wake. But don't worry, Braun is nowhere close to just fading away because of this. The way the match unfolded with Jay, you could make a strong case that Jay was fortunate to overcome the consistent barrage of nasty offense put out by Braun. You could say that Breaker's inexperience cost him a couple ill-advised running spears during the critical part of the match and the crucialness of it, and probably be right. Chalk that up on your inexperience and move on. I expect many more matches between Breaker and Jay, perhaps maybe a rematch at Bloodline in 10 days. And finally, number 10, go ahead and yeet Joe Testore encapsulated, encapsulated the culmination of Raw with 4 simple words, and boy was he spot on. Go ahead and yeet. The feel-good story of Jay winning his first singles title after 6 tries over 14 years of his career with WWE might have been a no-brainer to some, but nonetheless was epic. With Jay being all over the place the past year with the Bloodline, to teasing a romantic engagement with Rhea, Jay gave the fans what they wanted and what he deserved. Not many superstars are more liked right now than Jay, thus the overwhelming reaction of the crowd after the win. The reaction around social media included a tweet put out by Triple H had the feel when Cody won the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania in April. It felt that significant. Yep, it did. So those are the takeaways for WWE. And there isn't much right now changing for the matches yet. I believe by next week, the card should be ready to go. And next Wednesday will be my recap. No, sorry, not my recap, but my preview of the entire card. It was along with my predictions. But however, I know to end last week's broadcast, I gave a little bit on Patriots and a little bit on Red Sox. And I figured to end the broadcast, since since there was not much news for WWE this week, I'll go through this one for you real quick. And I'll start with Patriots first. Yeah, for those that watched the slaughtering that happened at MetLife on Thursday night last week, O-line, Brissett's body, secondary blowing coverages, 24 missed tackles, 400 to 139 of total yards, 39 minutes of possession to 21 practically. It was a mismatch. And I was not expecting Aaron Rodgers to be as good as he was. Granted, he was just coming off after having a year of reconstructing his torn Achilles. All I can hope for the past is that this Sunday against the 49ers, they will at least put up a fight. Do I think they're going to win? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not going to root against them every week, but I'm realistic. If they made the same mistakes that they made at MetLife, then that's not going to happen. I'm mostly concerned with our O-line battering Brissett so badly that if they put May in, he's just going to get decked. He's going to get hurt. Whatever's going on with that O-line, they need to wake up. And hopefully Alex Van Pelt can figure out a better game plan, because that should go right into the circular file. And then Red Sox. They're actually making this a little bit interesting, but I just wanted to read you guys something that I found from earlier on this morning. They're not out of wildcard contention just yet. After a month-long stretch of underwhelming ball, they've won 4 in a row to keep their hopes alive. However, the win wasn't loud or was an offensive masterclass, but Boston is still alive in the playoff race, and that is what matters. 4 games remain, and they have to win all of them to have a chance. They don't control their own destiny because they need to rely on these other teams to lose in order for the Sox to have any hope of shocking the MLB world. The Royals hold the 3rd AL wildcard spot with the Twins and Mariners behind them. Kansas City would have to lose at least 4 of its 5 remaining games for the Sox to have a shot. The Royals have lost 7 of the last 8, so they appear heading in that direction. But the Twins have also, with 5 games remaining, Boston needs them to lose at least 3. Mariners have 4 left and will need to lose at least twice. But other teams' losses don't matter if the Sox cannot maintain their momentum. 1 game left tonight in Toronto before they're off tomorrow for their final series of the regular season this weekend at Fenway against the Rays. So this is it. I mean, this is it, guys. Red Sox right now are hanging on by a thread. But, I mean, after just reading that, the chances for the Sox still are slim. But they are alive. And you know what? That's something that I am happy about looking at the situation with the Sox, because you know what? Here's what I'm gonna explain about it. Their postseason hopes have been fading for a while, but the Sox are playing hard until the end, starving off elimination for as long as they can and trying to push it away. As I mentioned to you earlier, they're 3.5 back with 4 left. And though a trip to the postseason is still highly unlikely, okay, the Sox will show up still breathing. In addition to trailing the Royals and Tigers, Sox trail the Mariners by 1 game and the Twins by 1.5. Boston also owns the tiebreaker against the Royals and Mariners. Brian Bello stated, "It would be great if we make it. It would be the first playoffs in my career. So obviously we're pushing for the teams ahead of us to lose, and we'll see what happens. But we got to control our own destiny." So keep this in mind. Sox hold tiebreakers over Royals and Mariners. So Tigers and Twins have got to start dwindling themselves down a little bit here. But here's the main thing right now for the Sox. Win out. If they went out, they've got a chance. But here's the thing: with each win, it's getting a little bit closer. But here's what I will tell you right now: one loss, and I'm just going to be honest with you. If they lose once before Sunday, their season's done. That's the harsh reality. Sunday's the season finale. If they can make it to Sunday on an 8-game winning streak, then when I wake up Sunday morning, we will look at the standings and see what happens. If it doesn't matter, then hey, you know what? Then it doesn't matter. But the Sox should still fight to get over 500. And you know what? Maybe they could take that momentum into what could be a better off season, knowing that 2025 they'll have everyone else that they didn't have back because of the ones we signed had surgery, so they wouldn't be able to play anyway. We'll see. So how about this for y'all? Next week's broadcast, previewing Bad Blood with my predictions. I'll also give you guys a little bit of a Pats update too regarding the game against the 49ers down the road up in Santa Clara. And then the Sox this season. Did they pull off a miracle or did they come up short? And we'll see how that goes. But with that being said, guys, please share this out. Give me all the help. And let's get the view count as high as we can make it. On behalf of the man behind the scenes, the creator of RIB, Ron Regal, this is Erik Dunn saying so long and thank you from my home in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. This has been a presentation of Falls Count Anywhere, along with just a little bit of a I'm done with sports updates in there here on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. I'll talk to you guys next week in October. Happy end of September, y'all. Thank you so much for watching and listening.